Hello everyone and welcome back to A Couple Books. This is Couple as per usual. Today we just did another book haul. I know I just uploaded a book haul like last week, but this one was taking a really long time to get to me because I ordered it through other people than my standard people. And it is going to be a LitRPG book haul plus a fantasy book down here. So I'm excited to get into it with you guys today and show you what I picked up. Absolutely zero of these books I've read before. They're all first books. I'm quite excited to get into them with you guys today. So with that, let us get into today's video. So the first book we have to pick up is a LitRPG book, which is, I do believe, much more of a sci-fi LitRPG book. And it is Moon Wars by Paul Bellow. And this is basically takes place in 1999, a few months before the year 2000 begins, and we are following a sophomore in college whose name is Alex. And he is really into those strategy games, you know, those military conquest kind of strategy games. And he basically makes two new friends in college. One is named Haley, the other name is Q. Haley is a fellow classmate who's really into gaming like him, and they bond over that. And his other new, maybe possible friend, who is Q, is, I'm guessing, a gamer based on what I've heard, but introduces Haley and our main character Alex into this game called Moon Wars, which is basically a moon strategy game. And we don't really know what the full implications are, but because it's a novel, I'm assuming that it's going to get pretty intense pretty quickly, and I'm excited to get into it. I have not read a strategy-based conquest-style LitRPG before, so I'm really looking forward to picking this one up. Let's put that there. Can you see it? I don't know. Okay, whatever. So the next book I picked up is The Jungle Tomb of the Ice Queen by M. Harold Page, and it's the first book in the Flying Tooth Garden series. And I'm really excited to pick up this LitRPG because I know the publishers, and I've only heard good things about it. It just sounds like a very intriguing story. Basically, we follow this character whose name I cannot pronounce, but I think it's Torstag, maybe, possibly, who basically gets into a relationship with a girl named Zana, who's a sorceress, you know, with the magic finger thingies.
Well done, dear.
Basically, this ends up having our main character fall into the lap of a Dark Lord, and ensues a LitRPG quest with fantastical elements, and I'm assuming a real fun journey. And just looking at the cover, it looks like it's going to be a good time. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be interesting. It talks about, you know, a Dark Lord, you got bounty hunters, you have minions, like what's not to like? So, The Jungle Tomb of the Ice Queen. Here. We'll put it right there. Okay, guys, the next book I have for you guys is Steam Whistle Alley by Joshua Mason. This is a LitRPG book, but it's different than other LitRPG books that I've read so far, or have told you guys about so far, because this one is augmented reality, meaning it's like, you know, when people put on the goggles and then they like play.
No, she just threw it. Whoa!
As they see things out there, or like the Pokemon game, or like you would catch Pokemon in real life. That's augmented reality from what my limited knowledge. And basically, in the downtown streets of Seattle, you put on these goggles and you get to go play the steampunk style LitRPG game. From what I've read on the back, it seems intriguing. I've heard of the author before, so I'm looking forward to picking it up. I'm looking forward to actually getting into reading it. But I just like the whole idea of like augmented reality and the whole idea of like steampunk. Steampunk's like a real interesting area for me. I just haven't really found anything I super loved in that area yet. But I'm hoping that this is going to be the one because I really love steampunk and I really love flying airships. But whoever plays this game and wins the game wins the deed to the game's heart, is what it says on the back. And that kind of gives me some Ready Player One vibes with the first book, of course, by Ernest Cline. But we'll wait to see. I'm looking forward to it because I just really am into the steampunk theme, and also the augmented reality thing is really refreshing. Hello, not hello, why hello? You guys have been here this entire time. But continuing on, the next book is The Idol System by Pegaz. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. But this is another LitRPG book, and it's all about a man named John who's basically on the quest for immortality as he's transported or transmigrated to this new world, which I'm assuming is probably a real world with LitRPG gaming mechanics embedded into it. And he's basically on this quest of to achieve immortality. I don't know how he's going to get there, but the cover looked intriguing to me, and so I picked it up. That is pretty much my entire justification for buying this book. So, moving on. Okay, so the next book I have for you guys is another sci-fi lit RPG called Planet Crash by Matthew Boudreau. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm horrible with names, and you guys know this by now. But either way, this is Planet Crash, and it basically follows a girl named Emily who is in college, and she just opened up a new server for a game called Planet Crash, which is, you know, Star Wars space battles type game. She's a Marine who basically goes out there and just attacks aliens and basically wins epic battles. She ends up hooking up with a new team, and these teammates of hers are trying to basically make some money or make in-game gold. I'm not exactly sure if it's real currency or fake currency, but they're trying to win belongings or win things by basically cheating out other players. And as these teammates are pushing Emily down this path of moral ambiguity and maybe not making the best choices in the world, she begins to question whether or not she's with the right group of people, and leads her deeper into the game called Planet Crash. And we will see what happens and what Emily decides to do. I'm excited because I haven't read too many sci-fi lit RPGs, and this seems to be right up my alley. This next one is called Expedition Summerland by Nathaniel Webb. This is a lit RPG book that basically follows this girl named Emma Burke. And Emma Burke, I think, from what I've gathered, is basically stuck in a dead-end kind of job, is kind of miserable, and she is kind of practicing her, it says magic, but I'm assuming magic in-game, not clear yet, behind her employer's backs, and she's just trying to basically get her friends into this game called Expedition Summerland. And in Summerland, there is clean air, blue skies, and basically all the magic and monsters are real, and adventures are actually happening for real in this world. She basically wants to get her team over there. Unfortunately, due to some mishappenstance, is that even a word? Possibly not though. Due to some mishappenstance, our main character, Emma, has to dive into Summerland permanently in order to make enough money to basically get her out of this trouble she's gotten herself into, and she drives her team forward, and they enter Summerlands where they're gonna win, what's the word? Win a whole bunch of money. There we go. I know English. Yeah, that's what I think is happening. Possibly not. But I'm guessing, based off the picture and based off what I read in the back, this is going to be more of a fantasy lit RPG. But I do like the real world pressures that are going on, or at least implied to be going on, based off the back of this book. Stay. Okay, so that's the end of the lit RPG haul. Now we're moving into the last book I hauled, and this actually is not a lit RPG. This is a fantasy book written by one of my favorite authors, Kevin Hearn, and Delilah S. Dawson. So this is called Kill the Farm Boy, and it says in tiny little letters, once upon a time. I'm excited for this one. It is basically, you know, very, very stereotypical fantasy, or especially high fantasy or epic fantasy, with a farm boy who's a chosen one who goes on an adventure to defeat the Dark Lord and gets a team together and they win the day. Yay, happy ending. But this is like, I don't think it might be a parody. It's humorous. It's supposed to be extremely humorous. It's kind of a parody on the standard tropes not stereotypes, it's tropes. It's a complete total play on all the tropes we see in those very standard chosen boy type storylines. And so I'm looking forward to it. I also like Kevin Hearn. Kevin Hearn wrote the Iron Druid Chronicles, which I absolutely love so much. So I'm really excited to pick up this one. And that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. So that is the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting downstairs and liking and subscribing if you haven't subscribed yet. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Talk to you guys later. Bye now.